Colorado Christian University was founded in 1914 and today boasts a student enrollment of about 8,500 students. Family goes a long way into molding you into the person you are, but it doesn't have to be the only source of information. As two Cougar soccer players have proved, you can overcome life's tragic offerings.
Growing up, we never were really made clear of what was actually happening in our life.
Kennady and Dakota McCullough spent much of their childhood waiting to spend time with their mother.
If our mom had to go away, our grandparents would tell us that she'd be back soon and we wouldn't see her for months on end.
Me and my sister always looked forward to going over to our mom's house. She never wanted to discipline us because she wanted us to, I guess, like praise her and like love our time with her. So whenever we were with her, it was like the most fun. She was she was our best friend for sure.
That wait would come to an end when the sisters were 12 years old.
Me and my sister were in 7th grade and we were both in PE. And that day, me and my sister were supposed to go to Disneyland with our cousins. And so we were expecting to get called out of school early.
So me and my sister ran to the training room and got dressed and started running to the principal's office. And I remember the principal just gave me and Kennedy a hug. And he was like, "You guys are so loved. And I don't want you to ever forget that."
We're running out to the principal's office to meet our grandpa, and you could just see on his face like something was off, but he was trying so hard not to cry.
So we were waiting to get into his truck, and he just broke down, fell to the ground, and me and my sister were, "What's wrong with him?" And he told us that, we got in the car, and he told us that our mom passed away.
I didn't cry right away because I was just so confused. I didn't believe it until probably like a couple hours later. That was the hardest day of my life.
Eventually, the truth would come out that their mother had overdosed.
I never really processed it, so that stage never really took place until I came to college. And freshman year, it was the hardest year of my life. I've never really, my mother figure turned into my grandparents, and I had my grandparents. And it wasn't until I went away and came to another state where I wasn't able to see my grandparents every night and come home to a family that I really realized that I don't have my mom anymore and that she's not gonna see me graduate. She's not gonna see me become a PA or a doctor, or like she's not gonna see me get married. And so, freshman year was really, really hard.
But both girls have persevered and have come out on the other end stronger than before.
The way I look at it is adversity comes when you're able to push through hard circumstances. And I'm so thankful to be able to use my story to help other people. I think now when I see people having hardships with their families, their parents, I'm just there to support them, and I'm there to tell them, like, listen, your family's, you're stable, your family's your forever. Don't take what you have for granted because it could be gone in an instant.
Carly Schwarzkopf returns once again as she takes some swings with one of the Cougars' top front row stars, who's doing more than just laying down the hammer.
Aside from being one of CCU's top hitters, Katie Henry is the definition of a bookworm.
All it took was a look into the culture and personalities to convince Katie Henry that she had arrived at her final destination.
Looked at the campus and said, absolutely not, I am not coming here. Went to the admissions office, went through the whole tour, and by the end of the tour, I said, I'm coming to CCU. My volleyball team is incredible. There's not a single person on my team that I wouldn't want to hang out with or be a friend with. They are ultimately what solidified my reason to stay playing volleyball here.
However, Henry's passions run deeper than volleyball, and her dreams of being a doctor in third world countries all go back to her childhood.
My dad is a physician, so I grew up around it. When I was 10, I asked him what I should do with my life. He told me I should be a neurosurgeon. I had no idea what that was, but I said okay. So I got to go on my first overseas mission experience when I was 14. I went to Bolivia, and I got to see so many people who didn't have access to the same health care that I did, and it broke my heart.
She had no intention of doing another mission, but her love of reading changed her mind. In particular, a book by Dr. Paul Brand, a missionary physician in India.
Reading about his servanthood really inspired me to try to give the whole missions and third world medicine another try. So I graduated high school early. I went back to Bolivia and I went to Angola, Africa for a month.
Books would continue to be a theme in Katie's life as she was able to turn her high school graduation speech into a published novel.
I probably wrote about 6 or 7 speeches, but one day I sat down and I was like, I don't want to give the classic, go on, do great things kind of speech. So I wrote a little rhyme and it was very Dr. Seuss-esque. So I contacted a publishing company that was a half self-publishing, half they published for you. And they loved it and they got me an illustrator and I ended up publishing the book 2 years ago now. That was ultimately what led it. I think part of it was pride to be a published author before I was 20. That was cool. I saw how the speech had impacted people and how it impacted my journey and just told of a story that everyone goes through and how people really related to that. So I wanted to share it with more people than just my class.
For the RMAC Showcase, I'm Carly Schwartzkopf.
Thank you, Carly. That brings us to our final timeout on this month's edition of the RMAC Showcase. When we come back, we'll sit down with a coach who has pulled double duty on campus. Don't you dare change that channel.